It was the trail, it was just the old road trail bit. Yeah, photos were crazy.
Yeah, there wasn't like a ton of our favorites.
You're unmuted, by the way. So.
Ah, okay.
Gustavo and Elizabeth are there. May I suggest we get going?
And no Ella yet.
No. So Claudette's not gonna make it tonight. Brian said he's not gonna make it tonight, so I think that's everybody.
Christian, even as a volunteer, is not making it.
I think now that the sidewalk's done, I don't imagine we'll be expecting anymore.
I think she's available if we need her. Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll call a meeting to order. We do have one visitor guest,
Anthony Fitzpatrick?
and
I'm just visiting.
just visiting. Any comments or anything? You're just monitoring kind of thing?
Oh, well, yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you came with a specific thing in mind or not. Okay,
John, since there's someone new here, do you want to do a round of introductions? You don't have to. We don't always do it. We do it in the Local Kings and Commission. It's always nice practice.
yeah, other than our guest, I don't think we've got anybody new, right?
Sure, it's up to you. Do you want the agenda?
We can go around quick. I'm John Grossman, the chair of the committee.
Hi, Paul Stankus, member, Peters.
And we're the director of health and wellness, that's you.
And we have Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm here.
Would you like to introduce yourself? We're just introducing
We
ourselves.
have a guest in the.
Oh, hi. Yes, I'm a resident. I bought a home on Franklin Street right before they started the plan to redo it. So I got involved in that at a owner's, citizen level and made some changes on the project along with other people on the street. So that got me interested in being involved in an activity, committee for the city. And since I was involved in the streets of the project, Complete Street Project for Franklin, I thought it'd be interesting to join this committee, which I was gratefully accepted. And it's been an interesting experience for me since I don't have a transportation background. So I learned a lot from Brian and other people and hope I contribute from a perspective of a property owner and a citizen.
Okay, thank you. Gustavo?
Hi, my name is Gustavo. I live in Midtown. I joined, I don't know, maybe like a year ago or something. I prefer to walk and bike places instead of driving the car. I'm interested in urbanism, and I think Kingston can be a much better city if we improve that, and that's why I'm here. Thank you for joining.
And Ella? Doing introductions. I'm not sure when you joined us.
Okay, hi everybody. My name's Ella Condrat, and what are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Just
Just
an intro. We have a guest.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just a member of the Complete Streets Advisory Council, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
And I don't think everybody could hear you. Maybe you could just introduce yourself.
I'm Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm a Live Well Commissioner and a frequent pedestrian.
All right, welcome. Thank you.
I'm sorry, because of the, doing this over Zoom, what was the name of the commission you're part of?
Live Well Kingston.
Okay.
Right?
Live well. Got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Everyone's, the noise outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all leaving, so I take a second.
And I guess go in order here. There's no reason not to. Do the election of the officers. Who's running for president?
What, what are the officer positions?
Well, we have a chair, a vice chair.
Yeah,
We hopefully would have a,
Can I?
well, I guess, yeah,
So the resolution, I believe, doesn't specify it.
okay.
In the rules of procedure, I have picked up with what Kingston's officers. So I suggest you have a chair and a vice chair at the very least. I suggest a secretary, but that's up to you all.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, a secretary.
But again, we haven't, as Gustavo mentioned, we haven't approved the rules of procedure, so you don't have to.
Right.
But at the very least, I highly recommend you elect the chair.
Yeah, and I think a vice chair is worth.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's kind of, to me, it seems like the wrong order, right? Like we don't even know what the officers are, so I feel like the focus should be in approving the rules of procedure, and then we can move on towards that. Because right now, like who's gonna, like we don't even know what the roles of the chair, vice chair, and secretary are. So for me, at least, will be hard to volunteer to any of those things. And the secretary, I think like this is something that have come up before, like taking notes for meetings. I don't know if we have it available, but Zoom has an option to even like make using like ChatGPT type of thing, like make a summary of a meeting and have translations. So I think like that we can look into it, but this is kind of like a side note.
Did you have something, Paul?
well, I did, but it looks like.
Elizabeth's
it's-
got-
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Elizabeth?
so, yeah, I think we don't have a lot of people here to really make that decision today, right? We're missing a couple of other people who are usually pretty active. 2 people?
Claudette and Brian are not attending today.
Right. I thought there was someone else who was part of the committee.
No,
Well, Christian's
I guess
not
I'm
here,
used
but
to
she
Kristen.
said-
I know, she's not really a member. Yeah, I mean, do we have a quorum even to do this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we do,
Oh, okay.
but
I like Gustavo's
Can't nominate
idea.
somebody who's not here.
I like Gustavo's idea of approving the rules of procedure first, because that does set up our sort of formal structure that we don't have.
That's a good idea. I agree.
Should we bring it for a vote?
we could do that.
And I feel like we worked on it for quite a while, and with the sidewalk stuff, may have gotten the back burner a bit, but I feel like it's been well reviewed at this point.
Since the last time we talked about this, Gustavo added a suggested edit that we should decide if you want to go with it or not. And if you want to go with it, I think you need to define X days, for example.
Yeah. That was before John's answer on how it currently works. I mean, I think still can be improved, right? Like setting the expectations from the I think it's like the grants department who sent this request. So I think there is room for improvement, but I don't know if my comments are actually it's still valid.
Yeah, because what we run into is most of those letters of support are drafted to meet certain bullet points of the, the grantors. So the grants department tries to hit those, and then, they give us a template, and, typically I add in a paragraph. And that's about it. The rest of it is kind of formulated in a way to meet the grantors' expectations. Because we don't necessarily ever see what the grant application is asking for. So that's why we've kind of depended on this process over the years. And they often come at the last minute. I mean, geez, I've had them where they needed to buy to close the business that day, and it was 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's,
So this is kind of a bit binding yourself to something that you don't have any control over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like if given that's the case, I would like, again, this is one of the things that is like I don't know, like as person who doesn't have the experience, like I don't know that if we have new people, they won't know how it works. So I think even if my suggestion is no longer valid, I think we can specify a little bit more how it works, so the next person is not surprised by it, right? Like we can say, um, usually like the grants department redact most of the information on the letter, and if in those cases, um, we can leave the texts there. And I don't know if that ever the case, but if we need to write something on our own, then we should have like more detailed process. Having said that, I think the idea of the Google Drive, I think like that's still valid. I think like we should, for all the letters that we send, should be stored in a place so we have like track history of the things that we've submitted.
So Gustavo, with your permission, can I reject this suggestion? That's what I'm hearing you. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I think like let's just add something to the on like storing the letters that we submit.
Having them publicly accessible somewhere, like having.
Yeah.
Here, so Gustavo, do you have access to this document on the device that you're on?
Not right now.
Okay.
Well, you do that anyway, don't you? Don't you have an archive of?
Well, I guess I was gonna say, if he felt that he wanted to have this be described in a different way, to just go ahead and make those edits, so that I'm not trying to interpret him.
But are letters stored somewhere?
So, we have an informal, let's see, can you see this? Okay, let me find you're gonna see my complicated, my messy filing system here, but bear with me for 1 second. I do have a Complete Streets folder, which I believe I've shared with you all.
Yeah, we all have that.
I believe this is it, and I believe, let's see. I'm not sure if I have copied all of looks like I do not have the letters of support, but we can start filing them here. I'm happy to do that. If I'm involved, if you guys are involved, like I don't have to, any council member can draft up a letter of support and get the chair's signature and file it in here.
Right.
But if it comes through me, I'm happy to file it.
Yeah, that's fine. We can all do it also, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
We could also add that as a task of the secretary. I think like that might make sense. But also like what you just said there, like if any council member can draft the letter, then I think there still have to be some like revision time, right? Like what's there right now works for me for when it's drafted by the grants department, but if it's somebody else that's drafting that, then there should still be some approval process, which it cannot be like the same day.
Okay. So so right now, the language that we have is, if the council is asked to support a project with a letter of support, the request will be sent to the chair for consideration. The chair, any member of the council, the staff liaison could draft a letter and send it to the chair for approval. What would you like to add?
Gustavo, do you want to add something about like 5 days, completion or something, or before? Obviously, you don't want to wait for another meeting a whole month.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there is like two different things, right? Like we're talking about this language that's here. I think like I agree. Like there should be at least, I don't know, like 5 days before it's submitted, so members have time to review it. But when the letter of support has been drafted by another entity that is none of us, for example, like the grants department, then I think we don't, there's like not much that we can say. So I think like that, I'm okay that being like a short turnaround for review.
Can I just clarify, when the grants department they send a template, whether it's Live Well or Complete Streets, the person who signs it has every right to edit it in any way they see fit. The grants department is just trying to help that process. You could literally just, sign your name to what they've written, because they're trying to help the fast turnaround, but just so you know, the grants department isn't controlling what is said in the letters of support.
But they-
Yeah, but I think like
their recommendations generally are tailored towards meeting the grantor's requirements, though, which is one reason that I tend to stick primarily with what they've sent. There have been times where I've edited them because there were, some technical error in what was in there. But, I don't get too far into the weeds with no, it's a better way to express that. I view them as the experts on responding to grant applications, presenting grant applications. And if they think that certain components of the universe should be included in that letter, I go with it. And if they've asked for another piece added, like this last one, I think I brought up the fact that the Ped Bike Master Plan consultants had identified that as I forgot what the term was. It was like the worst case scenario for pedestrians and cyclists, that Flatbush. So I brought that in because I thought that was more support that was missing from I'll just refer to it as boilerplate that was sent to us. I don't think we've ever been asked to draft a blank sheet of paper into a letter of support.
True. I feel like what's on the table right now is Gustavo's request for an approval timeline.
Yeah, and well, I'm just concerned because John said sometimes he gets them and they need it by the end of the day, so.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the city doesn't usually, it's a couple of weeks. I mean, usually.
Sometimes
We have 5
it's
days.
longer, sometimes
Yeah.
it's nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does mean that there might be a time that something happens and the Complete Streets doesn't have the opportunity to sign it.
That's never gonna be,
Maybe that's okay,
that thing's dead in the water at that point, right? It's
like the project itself.
Yeah, like,
It's unlikely.
if it doesn't have our.
I don't think, I mean, 5 days seems reasonable to me.
And the other thing that, I think I sent it out in an email, I wasn't aware that there was a limitation on how much stuff they could submit with these grant applications.
Depends on the grant,
Yeah, and
right, so
on
that's
this
just like,
particular one, there was I think the number was 10 things that you could put in there. So there wasn't a whole lot of extra stuff, like if Gustavo wanted to write his own letter, say, there wasn't necessarily room for it. And they would have to prioritize, a group like us or Live Well or some outside organization, like Bike Friendly Kingston perhaps, or I don't know who else they might call in. They have a list of different groups that they would go to depending on what the grant was about.
Well, all right, then should we the 5 days, is that something that everyone can?
Well, maybe it should be 7, because if the 5 days is Thursday and then somebody's away for the weekend, then that gives them Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. It's fine with me, but what do y'all think? 5 or 7? 5/7?
5 working, yeah, whatever.
5 working days. Is-
5 or 7?
So here, can I?
Contingent upon the deadline or
Yeah,
something like that?
Can I wordsmith it? So the chair, any member of the council or staff liaison could draft the letter and send it to the chair for approval with 5, after having sent it to the council for 5 days of review.
Sure.
Okay, but wait, the chairs. Okay, so, but you say the chair can send it to the chair. So maybe you want to see. So I would say the chair or any member of the council or the staff liaison could draft the letter and send it to the council for approval?
I mean, so if you, that feels like if you want to try to do an approval process, that's gonna get messy and not very efficient. Feel free to do what you want, but I suggest that you have one decision maker. Otherwise, some people.
That's not what I'm saying, Emily. It's the language. You're saying the chair would send it to the chair. So
Yeah.
I would leave out the chair at the beginning of the sentence and just start with any member of the council.
Great.
Because the chair is a member of the council too.
Oh, thank you. I like that. Yep.
Yeah, that's all. It's language. And then take the comma after liaison. I would take the commas after the council and liaison, because any member of the council or the staff liaison. I would take those commas out.
Did I get it?
But I would take the other comma after council. Yeah.
Great. Any member of the
Great.
council
Yeah.
could draft a letter and send it to the chair for approval after sending it to the council after 5 days of review.
Can I make a suggestion? Any member of the council could draft the letter and send it to the council for 5 days of review. And then what is the approval?
Then it
Right.
gets sent to the chair for approval.
Yeah.
So you could have a discussion after.
Okay, so can we reverse that? Can we say after could draft the letter and send it to the council? Period. After 5 days of review, it would be sent to the chair for approval. Is that what we're doing?
This is the part that stresses me out so much. It's so hard for me to interpret. Do you, Elizabeth, do you have access to this document? Do you want to go in and wordsmith it for me?
I have the document open. Yeah. You want me to go in?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. Great. Okay.
And I still think we need something in there that, maybe something to the effect of the greater of 5 days or the time left to the deadline. You know, I'm not sure exactly how to word that, but we've only got 2 days before it's gotta be
Right.
submitted. 5 days excludes us from even doing it.
Well.
Yeah, but I think this is like having these rules and procedures are important because we can forward those to the grants department and say like, hey, this is a requirement, so you gotta try to send the stuff with more. Like, to me, it's not acceptable that somebody takes, and that happens at work all the time, right? Like, when I take like way too long to do something and then I make you rush at the end. So if there is any failure on my side, then it's my fault. But then you're making me rush. So it's like, hey, grant department, now you need to like send the stuff with more time.
We're getting a call one night from the president of the college and asked me to do a letter of support. And he needed it that night, so I
Right.
ended up driving to his house.
Is that, can you see that there with all the changes?
Yeah. I think it looks, it was just starting to read through it. And sorry, I meant to make it so you could edit it without doing suggesting.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Next time. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to it fast enough.
That's okay. Sorry. I'm a fast typer.
Yeah. So let's see
Yeah.
here. Any
Yeah.
member-
Send it. Yeah. Let me just clean it up a little bit. Hang on.
Here, I'll make it. So you can edit.
Do I need to like sign out and sign back in?
No, you shouldn't have to. But
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working. I'll let you delete it. Send it. Yeah, there's just two twos. Just only need one set of those.
great. For future note.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's see how this reads. Any member of the council or the staff liaison may draft the letter and send it to the council members for review after 5 days. The letter. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Gustavo, does that work?
Yeah, that works for me. Sorry, I would also add like the storage like for like, and the letter support should be uploaded to a designated folder and like Google Drive or
yeah.
something like that.
Emily, do you want me to do it? Or you want to do that?
I would love it if you did it.
Okay. Is that okay? Gustavo, is that okay?
Do we want to leave it more vague, just sort of like the council's document repository or digital document repository or something?
Technology changes.
Huh?
In case technology changes.
Yeah, I don't know, who knows? Whatever. Okay, maybe not.
There was a bicycle registration referred to 2 sets of index cards. That was what was in the,
I mean,
Yeah.
I love things like rules of procedure because it's a sort of a shared vision, but this isn't law and, it's a guidance document.
Okay.
So I don't know that you have to get too crazy.
Okay,
about it.
how's that? How about digital file storage?
Love it.
Sure. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and I think to what Emily just said, like if in a few months we realize that the 5 days is too much and the grants
Yeah,
department
we
is
can
upset at us, we can just amend this and work with them and have like a more realistic time or like a better time, whatever.
That looks great. I like that. I think that's going to work well.
Okay, so if that's resolved, then I don't think there's any, I just made a note that I would remove, if you guys vote to, I will remove sort of the little lines that say where I got that content, but
yeah.
I don't believe.
Yeah,
there's-
I agree.
Great. So I think if you're sort of all feeling good about this, you could someone could make a motion to approve these rules of procedure.
We can vote on this even though we're not there. That's okay.
Yeah, I thought there was something else in here that
Okay.
was not, it was within the text somewhere that seemed to reflect live well. That was not one of those inclusion things. And I don't remember what it was offhand.
Well, she has the gray marks that show where she got it from that mention live well. Is that what you're
I think there
thinking?
was something else in here that,
Like I put left in
Yeah.
live wells.
yeah,
streets.
and maybe it was fixed already.
Yeah, do-
Because it's been quite a while since we first looked at this.
Oh yeah, a healthy break. Always have to remember to have a.
Yeah, I don't know. We could probably get rid of that.
We'll see, maybe we'll like that healthy break.
I feel like I'm letting live well down if we remove it. I'm gonna fight for that one.
I was reading this earlier while the introductions were going on. Sorry, guys. And I didn't see anything that didn't ring true to the council. So, John, it was maybe.
Yeah, it might have been fixed already.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Time to get into these things and the sticks.
There's
in
one
the
little thing. I'm sorry, I just saw something in Rule 10 about public participation. The last sentence, we just say state his or her name and address. Did you want to add and reason for attending the meeting or something? Do you want to add that, or does it matter? It's the last sentence.
And person just no statements or her name, address for the record.
And reason
So-
for attending? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, is that important to us? I mean, it seems like we ask people to do that.
It's
So-
not a bad idea, though, obviously anyone can attend for any reason, it's nice. We
Well, I think
have that stated,
If they're going to speak, I think that tells us what they're here for.
but not everyone wants to speak, it's.
Right, so I don't know that we need,
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm just
Yeah.
bringing it up because it struck me that every person that comes that's not on the council, we do ask them, hi, hey, is there, you want to share us with, that's why you're here.
I like it, I think it's.
that's fine.
Okay, yeah, just
Kind of
for
redundant
formalizing things, that's all.
to them speaking.
That doesn't mean they can say, I don't want to tell you. I think that's fine.
All right, so somebody want to make a motion to accept the.
I'll motion. Oh, okay, whoever.
I'll make a motion to approve the CSAC rules of procedure.
I'll second it. I'll
Yeah, it's
second it.
like
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
I heard Ella. Yeah, great.
I said aye.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Yay!
we did a thing.
All right. Now, what does it say about elections?
Okay, you want me to go back to that?
Since that's what
Yeah,
we just.
we kind of missed that. We kind of just glanced over it.
I
Chair,
know
Vice
exactly what-
Secretary. Now that we've passed it, did we discuss the secretary? Because who wants to do that?
would you guys like me to read what it says? What do you want? Okay,
Yeah, I
so,
mean,
I think we can all see it. I think everyone.
okay,
So what about the secretary position? Because we have YouTube, right? So
I fiddled with the AI minute thing, and I thought it's pretty good. I know you said you didn't like it at some point earlier, but I think it's pretty accurate at this point, pretty useful.
can someone tell me the name of the app and I'll see if it's even allowed to be added to my Zoom?
Good question.
Well, I wonder if we need anything in the minutes beyond what we voted on,
Right, it's just action.
just the action items and not all the discussion. All the discussion, somebody can watch the YouTube.
I mean, sometimes a few bullet points about the discussion is just good for memory,
Yeah.
but I mean, my understanding from Robert's rules is really the minutes are just the actions, the motions.
Yeah.
It's decided.
So that's where I don't know that we need the blow by blow, especially if the secretary is going to read them at the beginning of the meeting.
well, some committees, when I first moved here, I and this was during the pandemic, I zoomed in on a lot of different different committees. And it seems like every committee kind of does their own thing. But I did notice at that time, I don't know if they're still doing it because I haven't been back to many of those committees. They would do like a point summary of what happened at the meeting. Like, okay, we reviewed the minutes, we did this, we did that, and then here there was discussion, and here was the conclusion, and there was discussion, here was conclusion, but not the blow by blow of the discussion. Just, okay, Bob said this and Mary said that, they couldn't agree, whatever. That kind of thing. Really short, simple sentences. It is work though. Someone has to sit there and go through or take the minutes or go through the recording afterwards. So, if it can be done in 2 weeks and not like the next day or the next week, that might be something, we'd want to set a time thing. I don't know. Emily, is there some kind of official, if you do minutes, is there official kind of date range it has to be done before the next meeting?
I put in the rules of procedure 5 days, but that's not official. That was my suggestion.
So I guess we would amend this. I would say a week. I think 5 days. If we're asking one of us to do this, people have jobs and families. And if you're going to have to sit there and listen through the whole meeting, it's an hour and a half of meeting and take notes. That's about 3 hours of time because it's going to take you an hour to have to listen to it, or even if you forward through, and then you're going to write up your minutes. So that's a good 3 hours we're asking somebody to do once a month. We could have a rotating secretary. Somebody do it for 2 months, somebody do it for 2 months.
Another option that I was thinking is like, I do like the rotating part, but it could also be a little bit collaborative, right? Like somebody can take notes, be like high level, and then share them, and then everybody's like, oh, I also said this, you missed this part. You just add it to the
That's
document.
a good idea. Yeah, like an outline. Somebody could outline it and say, here are the conclusions or here are the main things, and then y'all add. We do have the recording, so even though that is, a pain because you have to scroll, you have to sit there and wait for the part that you're interested in to come up. So I think minutes would be a good idea. I find it frustrating too, to kind of have to say, oh, I have to go sit here. And when was it? The half of the meeting or at the end of the meeting? So, but I couldn't do it for the whole year. I would say I could do it maybe 2 months, and then somebody else could take over, or we could do that. Do we know how many meetings we're having this year?
Can I make a suggestion? For Live Well, I make the agendas in a Google Doc. And then Sarah in real time will add just the real top level stuff that
Oh,
happens.
that's a good idea.
In real time, and I love working that way because you go, oh no, I actually meant this word. And it can be collaborative, like I said, I don't think, please don't make it 3 hours long of work. Like literally, someone can just do it in the meeting and be done with
That's a
it.
good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be good with just the actionable items without getting
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
all the discussion.
I really don't think it has to be that complicated, but just some high level of like, we decided to do this, like basically, on the agenda, just add a bullet point that's like, we did this.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. Well, I'll try it for the next meeting if we want to see how it goes. Y'all want to just do that, and then we'll see. We can see how it goes that meeting, and then we can decide after that. How does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it with LiveWell, but I would suggest another folder in your Google Drive with editable versions of the agenda, and then you can just go in there and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you all are ready to do that, I'll happily make this agenda into a Google document that we can use for next time. Let's test it out next time. I love this idea.
Okay, great.
So, officers. So let's elect a chair and a vice chair. Maybe we'll leave secretary open and see how this new process goes. Making a new process is a really great first step.
How about was Rosemary the vice chair?
I thought Ella was.
Oh, was it Ella? I couldn't remember if it was Ella or Rosemary. Sorry. I would say, can they just stay if Ella's and John are agreeable? I'm happy with both of them.
So that's a nomination, is that what that is?
Yeah, yes. I'm nominating you both to stay on.
Yeah, I would second that.
Ella's being quiet. I don't know if she's in horror or
Yep.
shock.
No, I'd be all right with that. I haven't really had the opportunity to do anything yet as the vice chair, but sure.
Well, maybe the vice chair doesn't have much to do. So
Well,
Yeah.
it's totally the role as of 5 minutes ago, so.
What's up?
And I think most vice chair positions are in the absence of the chair kind of a thing.
And that's the language. says.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've missed any meetings, so I'll change that if you want.
Well, we could always adjust the role of vice chair to be something more than just a replacement for the chair in his absence, if we want to, like that's something we could discuss.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be, whatever the role might be.
All right, so I guess we've got a nomination on the floor, nominations.
You could say a slate of officers.
Slate of officers, that works.
One
And
vote for,
for chair and vice chair, and leave the secretary position fluid.
Well, I mean, I would-
Time being.
I'd be happy to nominate EJ, as she has already kind of volunteered to take on at least the early sort of version of whatever this.
I can't do it for the whole year. I don't mind. Like I said, I think it should be a rotating position. To ask someone to be responsible for every single meeting might be, let's see how it goes after the first meeting. If it doesn't seem to be too horrible, because I want to contribute too, and it's kind of hard to contribute and also take notes. So I'll be glad to just table that. Can we until after that meeting, and let me see how it goes.
Sure.
Appreciate the vote. Thanks.
So, well, I mean, technically, we could just like have Paul serve as the nominating committee and have the secretary cast one ballot for the slate. Or we could just vote.
Well, I think we've decided the secretary is on hold, but the other two we want to vote for. Is that okay, Emily?
yeah.
That seems reasonable.
So I did the nomination. Do we have a second? Do we need a second?
Yeah, usually get a second.
Yeah, I seconded.
Then John would say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Gustavo and Ella.
I don't know if they respond.
Yeah.
It looks like they're both muted.
Are they
Oh.
abstaining?
Yeah, they're muted, but I think
What's that?
they,
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble following what we're voting on.
we're voting on keeping you and John in your current titles.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
would
a
say
yes?
yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
personally would rather wait until everybody's here. This is like a, I don't know, it's like a big decision, but if you all gonna vote for it, go for it.
Well, Gustavo, do you think any of the other two people who aren't here would be interested in being the chair or the vice chair?
That's the question. I don't know.
Well,
That's why I feel like we should have a full quorum for that.
we have a quorum. You want full membership.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I used the wrong word, but yeah.
That's okay. You know, if you can't come to a meeting for extenuating circumstances, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. We may never have a meeting that everybody's at, so we could be putting it off. Emily, your advice on this?
I don't have, it's up to you guys, up to you.
Does it specify? I don't think it specifies in these rules of procedure what constitutes a quorum for elections.
Oh, yeah?
Does it spell it out that you need to have, I don't know,
Yeah. we've got quorum.
3/4, 2/3?
Yep, a quorum, rule 6, quorum and meeting procedure. A majority of the voting members of the commission constitutes a quorum to transact business. Transact, that's a weird word. Less than a quorum may adjourn any meeting. Robert's Rules of Order shall be used as a guidance for procedure. So a quorum is half of you.
And we've got 5.
Yep.
So we're good.
A quorum is
Yeah.
half. I thought it was one above half, but we have 5, so that's more than half anyway.
You can change that in the rules if you'd like. That's just one way of doing it.
Okay, well, Gustavo, if you want to reach out to those two people and see if either one is interested, and then let us know, or we, at the next meeting, if someone is dying to be chair or vice chair, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I know that there's quorum, but I think like giving people the opportunity might be nice. So
on the other hand, the agenda was sent out, and the thing we were talking about was the rules of procedure. That was one of the first things. And so if they had read it and saw that one of the things you do at the first meeting of the year is vote on the chair and vice chair, then maybe they would have said, hey, I'm interested, and maybe I'll let someone know if I can't be at that meeting. I don't know, how much we want to be sticky about this.
To that point, it was on the January and February agendas as well.
So it's not like it hasn't been available for people to look at and see. And you actually mentioned it in the December meeting, I think, that we would have to vote at the first meeting of the year.
I believe it did.
And Brian has made it clear that he's stepping back from the committee as a very active member, so I don't think he'd be willing to take on the chair.
Yeah, right.
There's the Ulster County Transportation Safety Council anyway, so he's got his hands full there.
Yeah.
And that is a good point, that we're really missing one active member.
I've joked around with Claudette about being an officer, and she has said no. But I didn't seriously ask her,
Yeah.
so I don't know how she feels.
I would think Claudette would have let it be known if she wanted to be a chair or vice chair. I mean, that's my sense of her. I don't know her personally.
all right. So it seems like we're good to continue then.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe so.
so I think we just need Gustavo, your vote. You do
Oh,
me, or abstain.
Yeah,
Okay. Then I think the motion passes.
Okay,
Alright, congratulations.
Woo-hoo!
sort of going in
Yes,
order.
that's done, yes.
Did we hear from Mary?
So I did invite her to come and introduce herself. I got an email just as the meeting was starting saying that her apologies that she didn't make it. So maybe she's still, I thought she was not interested because I hadn't heard anything. but, maybe she is, so why don't I invite her again next time?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have a bio from her, or her application?
Yeah, that was several months.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, I already forgot about that.
We do, I don't remember if I sent it out to you, you know, I always, whenever anyone applies to this or LiveWell, I invite them to introduce themselves.
Right.
Because LiveWell's kind of values or culture is that for someone to become a commissioner, they wanna meet the person and just sort of get a feel for like if they'd be a good fit.
No, absolutely. I
So-
mean, it is a nice gesture to sort of show up
Yeah.
and talk to us.
And this comes back to something I brought up either last month or the month before, that, you know, we are losing some folks. And if you've got people with, I'll describe it as professional backgrounds who might be interested, recruit them.
Yeah,
We are losing some of that sort
Yeah,
of professional knowledge.
You know, Christian and Brian, you know, we've got Claudette with her DPW superintendent
Mm-hmm.
background, so we still have some there. And we've got Bob in the periphery.
Right.
But it's
guys, I don't want to be a niggler, but we have, it's 10 to 5. Don't we have to stop at 5:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to, I think maybe we should move forward to the next, because it
Well,
looks like
that's
there's
why
a lot
I
of
didn't
stuff.
really want to get into this today, because we've got a gazillion other important things on here.
The next one's real fast, you want me to jump in?
Sure.
The link on the agenda is draft website updates, you started a conversation about that, John, over email. The call to action is if you all could go into that document and review the content and add any content that you'd like, or make any edits to it. So this would update the resources page for the Complete Streets Advisory Council on the city's website.
Wait, where is that? Is it an old business?
Administration D, this is from the, I'm sorry, this is not on your.
Oh, I've got the old agenda. Yeah, I have to.
My
Did you send a new?
There's quite a good list there already. As always, there's, you know, possibly something else that could be added.
Sorry, I was looking at the old one. Okay, I see it now.
I
Thanks.
didn't even
Okay.
realize there's other stuff on there besides our bios, so,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll-
So this isn't urgent, just, so this is a call to action to review it if you can.
I'll leave it.
Yeah. And I guess, why don't we forward those to the group in the emails and just kind of add, assuming they're on,
Sure.
and then, next month, kind of finalize that list for you.
What do you mean by forward them in the emails?
Well, if there's other resources that maybe we want to add to it,
Can you just add it to the document?
oh, you want to do that?
Yeah, that makes,
All right.
that makes
I
sense.
thought maybe we could review them before we added them.
I believe is it a Word doc or a Google Doc?
I don't remember.
Here, I can,
It's a Google Doc.
great, so just,
Ah,
so
okay,
you know, forgive me for anyone who doesn't feel comfortable with Google Docs. I can happy to help train anyone at any time. But I love the process about Google Docs because you all can be the editors. So you
Yeah.
can type it in, put a link to it. You don't have to wait for me or anyone else to like do the work. You can just go in and do it.
yeah, for some reason I thought that was on a web page, but that's the draft you have on Google.
Right, so what I'll do is, once you all decide what content you want, then I'll go into the back end of the website and update it to
Okay.
look like that. It saves me a whole lot of time than doing an individual edit on the back.
Right.
The back end of the website is a real pain in the butt. Just if I can be blunt, I'm sorry to be
So
so.
I'm familiar with that. Yes, it's terrible. All right, let's move on then. Community safety concerns on Marlena Avenue, had an update on it?
Yeah, I've got a quick update, so I don't think I've had a chance to tell you all that there was a meeting between the woman who came to visit us at Complete Streets, Alyssa, I believe her name was. We met with the principal Lowell from Edson, the mayor, the city engineer, myself, and three parental representatives to talk about those concerns on Marlena. And we decided on sort of two levels of responses, a fast response and a long-term response. A long-term response was sort of general sidewalk creation, which, as you all may know from now that this takes a very long time and costs a lot of money, so that's an end goal. In the short term, the city has put up additional no parking during restricted hours signs right between Voorhees and the school, which is right where the main congestion is that the community members were talking about. And then increased enforcement has happened. So I believe that it, if they come back again, we can ask them how they feel, but I believe that the situation is a little bit better and because of the immediate response. And then, of course, Marlena Ave is still on our list to be improved with, permanent traffic improvements. Oh, I'm remembering, the mayor also suggested that a middle term intervention could be to draw white lines so that there is sort of a protected walking area, but I think that would still require engineering at least to do a site plan. So that's a medium transportation improvement option, if I'm recalling correctly. It's
Yeah,
been
That's not really
over,
blocked
so
there.
I'm trying to remember the details. Any questions about that? Was I clear about that?
Is there any discussion about the Safe Routes to School project where they put the path up from Lucas Avenue?
We mentioned that work has been done in the past, that we have that planning study and that work was done.
And what was the reaction to that? Did any of the parents have any reaction to that at all?
No.
Okay.
It's just funny looking at the Google Street View, there's a kid walking in the street and there's some guy with a green vest and a stop sign in his hands,
Yeah,
standing there. I don't quite know what his role is.
I think that's one of the school safety officers.
Okay.
And if you ever go, it's really honestly, complete streets, I think would be a good field trip for you all to go at some time during drop
I've
off.
never been back there.
So the elementary school drop off time happens and then the middle school happens about an hour later. It's so congested. It would be a really interesting experience for you all to see what it's
Okay.
like.
Interesting.
Is there room to do any tactical urbanism here?
Not really. That Marlena Avenue is quite narrow
Yeah, it does.
in terms of the pavement. I don't know about the right-of-way width, how much additional space there is that would, cut into the lawns that, could possibly be developed in the future. But I don't think there's anything we could do as a tactical urbanism project up there.
Aside from just sort of general slowdown, you have kind of like painted things. that
It's
say,
so
like,
congested,
children
they can't go
walking or
fast
whatever.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I see it 5 days a week. Sidewalk Finance Task Force, I think a lot of us were there. I'm gonna read Christian's summary of that. When we met with the mayor, was that 2 weeks ago, last week, I lost it.
Last week it was just.
Christian's summary was, my understanding is that the new recommendation would be for the city to budget for a sidewalk improvement plan, a SIP, that would include a full analysis of sidewalk conditions, a plan for repair based on data and usage, conceptual cost estimates, and details for a financial mechanism, whether it be bonding or a sidewalk improvement district. We could compose a letter and have Bob bring it forward for us. I'm wondering if we would maybe want to list some of the work that's already been done to support this. There was the GIS work that I believe Brian Slack had done. There was work that Emily's folks had done. And where else did we get data? Oh, Christian with her intern, back when we started this on sidewalk conditions and inventories and so forth. Just to lend support to the ask. So we'd basically be asking the common council to fund consultants to come in and do the rest of this work.
Right, well, the question is, how specific do we have to get? Do we have to come up with an amount where we're asking them for? I mean, I guess,
I
yeah,
think we would have to almost
can I try to answer that? I don't think so, because we don't know what it would cost,
Okay.
and plus it might be a range,
Mm,
The first step might be to put out a request for proposals to get an idea of what kind of money is needed to really do it.
But it's probably good to know, so the pedestrian bicycle master plan, should have been $120,000, but I got cut in half to $60,000, so we got a deal on the pedestrian bicycle master plan. So you might be asking the council for something around $100,000.
okay, yeah, and I guess I'm just curious how the sort of next steps of this work. And yeah, it has to be, we have to be, because we are coming at an advisory sort of angle.
Well, our role would be to write this ask, write a letter asking for this. And then, Bob would hopefully champion that for us as our liaison.
Right.
And I think he's, would be on board with that based on his participation.
Sure, yeah.
Comments. And then we need to gain approval from the council to move it forward.
Right.
Is Elizabeth's hand up fresh or is that a leftover?
Yeah, it's fresh.
Okay.
So we gave the mayor a whole proposal. And so now we have to do one for the council. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, we basically put a white paper together with options for financing sidewalk improvements. But we don't have a plan to be financed. So now the idea is we're going to ask the council to fund the creation of a plan that the financing could then be utilized for.
Okay, so we're basically
Or how
saying
well that came out.
we have. Okay, wait. Let me, as a layperson. So we have a plan. The mayor said, okay, that sounds great. So now we're going to the council and saying, okay, here's the idea. This is what the mayor wants. We've looked at it. We think it'd be a great idea. Now we need money to be able to come back to you and tell you how much it's going to cost. Is that correct? That's what it sounds like. We need to have money to get a consultant to give us an idea of the total scope of the plan or to create the entire plan.
So
Is that correct?
Getting
we're
this plan would be the next step, and then, kind of the next to last step would be getting the financing to implement the plan.
Okay, right, but we're asking for money. I'm sorry, we're asking for money to hire a consultant or consultants to create the plan for the city to put this in place. Not fund the plan, just fund the creation of the plan, right, Emily?
Yeah, I would use this language, so I believe that you all have made a recommendation, right, and then Elizabeth, I agree with what you're saying, that you're now asking the council to create a full plan, but one asterisk is that I think the conversation we had with the mayor was that the recommendation is still not necessarily saying a sidewalk district, but that you'd actually still do some exploration with the consultants saying, we want to improve our sidewalks. Here are our options.
I was going to get to that. Yeah, I was going to get to that. I want to clarify, we're asking for a specific thing, which is money to hire consultants to review the recommendations of the council to deal with the sidewalks in Kingston. That's basically what we're asking, right? We're not saying it's going to be said. We're just saying we need the mayor. We've given suggestions to the mayor. The mayor has said, great, this looks like a great idea. We go to the council and say, here's, we talk to the mayor, here's all of our things. And now we need you to approve money so we can hire a consultant to create the plan that we can then present for funding, right?
Yeah, it seems.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to really make it simple because we can't go to the council and just say, oh, hey, we want to improve the sidewalks and we need some money. It has to be 3 sentences, boom, boom, boom. And they go, oh, okay, great. They have questions, they can read the task force stuff, right, Emily?
Yeah, I would suggest that someone goes to if it gets accepted to their agenda, that someone goes to the meeting. They often have questions about these things.
Oh, yeah, that part, obviously, yeah. But we need to get it on the agenda. But, I think, what is the president's name? Arlene?
Andrea, shout.
Andrea, I think it was an A. I mean, she runs a pretty tight ship, so we really need to be very concise as to exactly what we want to get on that agenda, not some rambling kind of vague thing, because that's not going to fly.
So that's something that we've got to work on, is that ask.
Yeah.
All right, and in the interest of time,
Well, it's basically a 2-paragraph thing. It's not. I mean, we can provide the task force results and the proposal we gave to the mayor, but we're basically saying, hi, based on the task force that we created and we came up with some recommendations. The mayor has looked at this. Now we're coming to you and saying, can we please have, please approve money so that we can hire consultants to create the plan to bring back to you for funding. I mean, that's it. I just wrote it. I mean,
Attach the report, right? Like, to sort of answer any questions you might have, but then also we'll be there at the meeting. Yeah.
oh, well, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying, but to get on the agenda, they need to know what it is that they're going to be looking at. The agenda of the council meeting is going to say common, sorry, it's been a long day at work. The CSAC is presenting this and here's what they're asking. And then they're going to go, oh, okay. And if we give them the task force results to look at before, which we probably should, then they'll have their questions. I think they're going to want to have I think we should give them the information that we can before so they have a chance to read it. And not
we
just.
don't have to solve this today. I just wanted to get that update out to the whole group, and we'll revisit
Yeah,
this.
so I think we put on the agenda next week or next time to be like, let's nail down maybe who's doing it or exactly what we want to get out there and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay.
All right, then Emily got us 311 sidewalk data.
So, Paul, I believe you started this conversation.
Yeah,
Do you want to do this tonight? I might suggest, this was information you recall that the administration sort of thought was confidential, so I just have printed copies, I don't have electronic.
sure.
Can we do this at a time when more people are?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
That's what I
Okay,
would suggest.
okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's okay with me.
I don't think there's any urgency to it.
yeah.
No, we're just trying to get a pulse on what's going on and what the public's reporting. All right, New York State crosswalk protections. I don't know if you've had a chance to go back and look at that USA Today article that I distributed some months back. But
Is this something we need to take action on or just read and be aware of?
well, what I was going to suggest is, read through that article if you haven't already. See, let me express this differently. And my question is, do we want, as a group, to ask the mayor to bring a proposal to our state representatives in support of modifying the state vehicle and traffic laws regarding crosswalks and what the protections are? Because right now, it's basically only pedestrians in the crosswalk that enjoy legal protections. Somebody in a wheelchair, I'm not clear on whether they're protected or not. Somebody on a bicycle, somebody on a scooter definitely are. I've gotten different takes on whether a wheelchair is a protected person in a crosswalk. If somebody wanted to dig into the state laws to see what they are.
I actually read an article about this recently in the Times or in the New Yorker, I don't remember which one, about someone who was, or maybe it was another paper, about someone in a wheelchair who had this situation where they were either in the road or the crosswalk or the sidewalk and they got hit, and then there was some huge problem because they weren't considered protected, and it was kind of shocking. Do we not know what the New York law is?
If we could get, our support to go to the mayor and ask him to go to our elected officials at the state level, which would be, state senator and the assembly members, Maybe we
But
can,
John, do we know what the New York law and what Kingston law is? Which one takes precedence, the state law?
State law.
state on this item. We
Okay,
need
I
the
mean,
action at the state level, so we would need the mayor to approach our elected officials and
but we
ask.
don't know what the law is, correct?
Say it again.
I'm sorry, do we know what the law is or we do not know?
Right now, my understanding is it's only people walking in the crosswalk that are protected. Scooters, bicycles, questionable whether wheelchairs and handicap mobility devices are included in that. So we need to look into that, figure out what really is a protected class in the crosswalks, and then create an ask to get support, hopefully from both our assemblyman and our state senator to carry this forward.
Do we know if there's currently anything in the works at the state level? I mean, it just seems like such a win-win, like both
Well,
sides of the aisle.
you would think, but sometimes it's not obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taken things forward to the state senator that there was no companion bill in the state senate, but there was a bill in the assembly side. Go to the state senator, spell it out, and then the state senator took it to the state senate, and we ended up with it, approved and passed into law.
Mhm.
There's not good communication.
I just Googled and found 3 different laws about pedestrians and crosswalks.
Yeah.
Some are blind, some are regular, but I mean, just in 3 minutes I was there. So I'll look into this and see what I can find.
All right, yeah, see if you can dig up all the vehicle and traffic laws from New York regarding this. And if you could spread those around, maybe next time we can have this on the agenda to discuss an ask that the mayor could carry to the state representatives. And,
Okay,
this is a way of the city lobbying for improved state vehicle and traffic laws, to protect the citizens and the visitors and everybody else that's using our streets.
Sure.
All right, I'll move on. Draft shared e-bicycle resolution. I believe everybody saw the email regarding adding regular pedal bicycles to this. I reached out to Bob to find out if he's edited this and refined the format for the resolution. And I didn't hear back from him, so I don't know where he's at with that. But, again, this is a enabling resolution. Once the common council and the mayor buy into the idea of having a shared system, then the next step after that would be figuring out what that would look like. First we find out if they'll even allow it.
Right.
So-
Yeah, back when I joined, there was discussion about this.
Oh, yeah, this has been going on for several years with several false starts.
Yeah,
So,
so this is the first step that needs to be done before anything else.
yeah, it makes sense.
That's a little unclear to me, but it's going through the process, so.
Yeah,
There's no reason for the city to, I think, not allow it to happen,
Right.
not allow a shared system, in my opinion.
yeah, my opinion too. We can never know.
You never know.
All right, safe systems implementation. Emily did send that around. Basically, the initial resolution was to endorse the mayor's executive order regarding safe systems. And the common council decided to add some, I'll just describe it, metrics to that. And if you look through the documents that Emily attached to the agenda, you'll find that there's a implementation plan there that included lower speed limit, creating a fund.
Can I just make sure we're on the same page? You're talking about this document?
Yeah, there's a,
I mean, we got this from Tanya, by the way. Tanya sent this around.
okay. So these were the things that were taken to the common council. I see they crossed out the cameras.
Can I just, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm forgive me if you just said this. My understanding is that this went back to committee. I don't,
Yes.
right? Okay, great.
Yes, that's my understanding also. But
I'm
well,
sorry,
these
Miss
things
Hunter, I didn't hear you, Emily. What did you say? It's what? Back to committee?
You're right. My understanding is that
Yeah.
this was brought to the council, the common council meeting, and the Alder people decided to send it back to committee for discussion, and I don't know if it's been discussed a second time.
Oh, okay, so we don't need to really look at this right now.
Looking at the document you sent, it's gone through there twice
Yeah.
with signatures. So I think they did review this again, and it looks like it was awaiting the mayor's signature. We may want to clarify that, but it looks like it's been through the committee twice already.
I'm fairly certain that it has not been approved by the common council and would not be on the mayor's desk yet.
So it's got to,
It's either in committee, meaning that the safety or laws and rules, I'm blanking on which one it is right now.
Yeah.
It's either on their agenda or I don't know if they've met yet for this month. That's what I don't know.
I think they've done it twice, and it needs to go to the council before it could go to the mayor.
Yeah, they'd have to vote to approve it at the next common council
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah.
Because this last signature document was only done on 3/27.
But, so unless they've discussed it, and I'm not aware, which is possible, I think this is still open for I think Bob's still open for feedback, so this council could still provide, even if they did decide, and it hasn't gone to council for approval yet, you guys could still give feedback.
What committee is it? The planning committee?
It's
Scroll-
either.
Scroll
laws
up,
and
it should be
rules-
on there.
Oh, yeah, thank you, John, let's see. It'll say right here, where is it? Public safety, general.
Public safety, general government, okay.
And so it's basically lowering the speed limit to 25, and there's some funds for safety sort of measures.
My understanding on the city speed limit, and let's see if it says it here. They'd have to, what I believe the city would have to do is lobby the legislators to make a change. So as of right now, my understanding, I'm not gonna get this right, but my understanding is that for the city to lower its speed limit, it has to do a speed study.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
It's like state law is like 30, right? It has to basically justify the below that,
That sounds right.
something like
I'm
that.
not an expert at this by any means, but so my understanding here is that the action is they're basically advocating for that requirement to be taken away, I think. Requires. Oh, and replace MUCDO, so these are two guidance, NACDO and MUTCD are two guidance methodologies, so he also would like them to use MUTCD and not NACDO and lobby legislators to make that change, so. Ella's got her hand up, maybe Ella, you know more?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I totally forget the details of this, but I believe there was somebody from NACDO who was contacting Kingston about something that they wanted to try to kind of get around having to do the whole speed study.
Oh.
So I could forward that to you. I'll try to find it and forward it to everyone. Yeah, and I forget like the details. It came up a little while ago, so.
Cool.
I just did again a Google. I love Google. The New York City's limit is 25, which I didn't know. That's kind of interesting. And then then there's also residential roads outside of New York City, divided, undivided highways, urban interstates, and rural interstates. That's all I can find quickly. I don't see anything referring 30.
Well, it's just interesting because this document refers a lot to funding, but it's like vague about funding. Is that just?
Oh, wait, here it is. I'm sorry. Within New York City and other city limits 30, residential roads 45. So it doesn't address other city limits. I guess where other city limits is 30. So whoever said 30, I think is correct.
I believe New York City has different laws than,
Yeah, New York, actually, yeah, but this says within city limits. It says
Yeah.
within New York City and other city limits, 30 miles.
It's the same way that they have traffic cameras in New York City, so that they have to get the laws passed at the state level to do that. But I think they've done it with the speed limit and the safety cameras.
So I guess the short story here is that it's in process with the common council. And it's been reviewed several times. And scroll up again.
I mean, it looks
this-
good, like 3 sounds very exciting.
Yeah, let's,
If Kingston goes down to 25, the police can just sit on Albany Avenue and give ticket after ticket, because I can't even get people. I go 30 and people zoom by me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other issues with that, and part of my thing about the 25 is that if you're not enforcing at 30, like, what's the point? But
Well, yeah.
like all the traffic calming measures that it discusses in this, I mean, that's where I think the difference in the change can really be.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe I missed something because I was driving back, but I think the difference is once we say that our speed limit is 25, the engineer can start designing for 25, right? We can adjust the lights for 25. We can like design the streets so they're like narrower or whatever stuff that will like slow down traffic a little bit. And I think like that's kind of like the importance of it.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that right now, nobody goes 30. I mean, there are two places that the police hang out and pretty much everybody knows where they are, and they slow down a little bit and then they speed up again. So, I'm just making an observation. It's human nature.
Yeah, I also remember when the police chief Tinty came in once, he basically told us that they have very little resources for traffic
Yeah.
enforcement, and it's hard. And most of the streets, they don't really have a place they can
Hide,
stay
yeah.
and watch things. So the other thing is, I remember Kristen saying that they actually, when they did Broadway, they designed that for 25. And I honestly don't think that I don't see any reason why, just because the speed limit is 30 or 25, that the engineer has to necessarily make design. Like, I think that the engineer could design for lower speeds if they want,
Whether it's 30 or not, yeah.
whether it's 30 or
Also,
not. Yeah.
Broadway has a lot of lights, a lot more than Albany. So, the lights on Albany are fairly wide, far apart, whereas in Broadway, it's every other block almost. So that in itself, slows traffic.
well, for now, we've got one more comment here.
I just wanted to let you guys know, that I did go to the last, caucus meeting. They did almost like put this through, but for the, if you go and look at where it's written out, amendment to resolution 45 of 2014, like that was a glaring mistake. And then there's, number 3 on this was something that they could not require the planning board to do. So they decided that, because it wasn't like a time sensitive thing, that they would just go back. So I just want to let you guys know why they didn't. They would have like pushed this through if there wasn't minor changes they needed to make. So
Well, on the upside,
definitely get.
the common council is working on this. So we're getting closer and closer to some kind of
Thanks for that, Anthony.
Hey, Emily has some grant application updates for us.
Sure, are we done with that talk? Everyone's done with that talk?
Yeah, for now, because primary point here was that the common council is working on it and they're making some headway.
Okay. I want to add a new ongoing agenda item. I can't imagine you guys won't be happy with this. The grants department was able to do this transportation projects sort of report, I think, very quickly today. So I'll start to add, I think I can do this monthly, so you'll see in this report the current projects, the completed projects, and then down below is the new awards, so any new grants that we've gotten, and then pending and upcoming. So we've talked about, I think one of the topics at one time was a letter of support for the DOT TAP Quarry and Westbrook Lane sidewalks application. So she said she has pending here, so we don't know the answer if we've gotten that grant yet. The next one is the consolidated funding application. Sometimes those are called CFAs. That has not been announced yet. And then you'll see she has an update about the Safe Systems for All. So that, I think Tanya sort of had an email chain about this, so we just wanted to clarify why we didn't get the grant. So I just wanted to say, I think I can say quickly, feel free to look through this more, let me or the grants department know any questions about it, and I hope to have this as a regular update for you all, which I think will be great.
Yeah, that'd be real handy.
Emily, that's fabulous. That's really great.
Cool,
All right, thank you.
okay.
Then Emily's up again.
Yeah, okay. So, so this is sort of new, I added this to the new agenda, my apologies for adding this last minute. I would like to propose a project for the Complete Streets Advisory Council in 2024, so in this year. And my latest thought today was you guys can choose your own adventure. The first option is, actually Rose brought this up a couple of months ago, but I took a webinar, a training recently about a new policy evaluator for Complete Streets. And so there's a tool that we could go through to evaluate the Complete Streets resolution and policy. And my goal would be just in 2024, we just evaluate it. And then maybe in 2025, we would draft a new resolution or a new policy. So that's the project. The second option is, we've talked about this for years, but another project we could work on is applying to be a bicycle-friendly community. This is part of the League of American Cyclists. It doesn't say that we are a bicycle-friendly community. It basically is saying that we are working towards being a bicycle-friendly community. And I believe it's a little bit like this Climate Smart. I believe it's like bronze, silver, gold. And you apply and you show that you are making, working towards being bike friendly, and then you get awarded a level. So the project there would be working on the application to become being recognized as a bicycle friendly community. And again, we don't have to decide anything tonight. I just wanted to propose these two projects. And then hopefully go forward with one of them. I see Elizabeth, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, so the second one, does that help in, I think it's a good thing, both of them are good, but I'm thinking of the second one, would that rating help us in getting grants down the road?
I think it's very likely, yeah.
Okay, and yeah, so sounds good. Maybe we should vote next time. Is there someplace we can read about these? You have the documents up in the drive?
Sure, in this agenda, there's links. If you can click on it and see the policy evaluator tool.
Yeah, I just didn't open them. Okay, great. Okay.
No, that's fine. You don't have to open it now. And by the way, I'd like to get to both of these eventually. My thought is here, the Complete Streets Advisory Council, so it makes sense that some sort of subcommittee of Complete Streets would meet. It'd be a working committee and we would review it and kind of go through it. Bicycle friendly community application, I might eventually get to it on my own, but I'm at capacity. So my thought was maybe some of you all would like to work on this with me. And again, we don't have to decide tonight.
I think they're both great things to think about for the next meeting or two.
Yeah, certainly put those back on our agenda.
Sure.
I don't know what traffic guard project is at all.
Oh, I know. It's a teaser. Okay. So another project that I'm working on, I don't know if you all are familiar with the Live Well Kingston Commission, which Anthony is a commissioner. We have a subcommittee called Travel Well, of which I work on a lot of active transportation, so walking and biking projects. In 2024, I'd like to do a traffic garden project. Here, I'll share a picture, which I think will explain, a picture that can explain it so much more than me explaining it. But of course, I'm not finding it fast enough. Okay.
There's one in Rosendale or something?
Orange County.
Okay.
I'm sorry, meant to have it queued up for you. Bear with me. So the idea is that it's a, the image isn't showing, oh, there it is. Okay, so it's like a, mock streetscape in a safe place where people of all ages can practice, how to navigate in the space. Usually it's combined with safety education. For example, the YMCA bicycle programming, their programming, curriculum could be used in this space. There is an abandoned tennis court at Forsyth, and I've already gotten approval from the mayor to possibly do this project. So my goal here is to sort of paint just the surface, so the tennis court could still be used for overflow parking. It would just, beautify it, and then people could use it to learn their hand signals, bike on it, walk on it, and it's sort of like a practice space for using a streetscape. We have grant funds that will cover it. I sort of see it in two phases. The first phase will be a pop-up event that we'll do on the space with no drawings on the surface, but we use chalk just to kind of draw it out. And we'll have people start to use it and help us plan out what they want to see. And then the second phase is we take all that public feedback and do an small little engineering plan, and then hire an artist to implement it. So I think this will be a really fun project. And my ask of you all is, I would love to have a Complete Streets Advisory Council representative sort of on my team to make this in 2024. I don't think I'm actually going to be asking a lot of work of you. I think it's more just to get guidance, come to the events, of course, and maybe help me connect me with other community members. But you don't have to paint unless you want to. I'm getting a little tired, so I'm not sure if I explained that all well. Does anybody have any questions or clarifications about the project?
I'll be glad to help you paint if it's on a weekend.
Okay, cool.
So this is youth oriented, I assume.
Well, I see people of all ages, because I myself as an adult didn't really gain confidence to ride as a cyclist until I started sort of doing slow rides and Tom's bicycle programming. That's really what brought me into it. So I think all ages can practice what it's like to use a streetscape.
Is it worth partnering with the Wise Bicycle?
Yeah, so I have a sort of a project team of which the new
I forgot his name.
Justin is on the team here. I wasn't going to share the document, but I can just tell you a little bit. My colleague Ninette is doing some physical activity encouragement with the schools, so she's the perfect partner to connect us to the school district. Then Principal Lowell and Dennis Dwyer, who's a coach at the school, have both expressed interest in being on the team. And then I wanted, Paul, you'll see, I was thinking that you might be interested, but no pressure. And
No,
then-
I mean, it's EJ volunteer, but I'm happy to also be involved, I'm sure multiple people from staff can be involved or whatever you need,
To clarify, I heard Elizabeth volunteered to paint on a weekend.
Yeah, I don't have a bike, so but I'll be glad to help paint. And I work Monday through Friday. I'm 9 to 6. I can't do anything like help with schools and stuff. But after hours and weekends, can do what you need.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that we will probably meet at the school during a work day when the teachers are available.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah, I can do that sometimes. I can meet during the day.
Right.
All right, cool.
All right.
Bike count time again,
Yeah, so announcements, communications, next month is my pedestrian bicycle account. Please sign up to help me collect data. This year, we'll hopefully have a new infrared counter on the linear trail by the time that we do this. So the person who counts at the trail will probably be, what's the word? Making sure that the data that we're collecting is accurate. So that's
This is along Greenkill?
That'll be on the linear trail at Downs, Midtown Linear Park at Downs Street.
Oh, Okay.
We're installing an infrared camera there.
I've noticed a number of those, I don't know, just like wires across the street. They're always like two of them spaced measuring car traffic. There's like a bunch around
I
town.
noticed that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure what all the projects are, but it seems like someone's measuring traffic somewhere.
Brian would probably know.
Yeah.
Emily, I have a question on the Saturday time. Where would that be? What locations?
There's 4 locations. They're all along Broadway. They're at different intersections. So there's.
Oh, great. Okay. I can probably help you on the Saturday.
Yay! Thank you.
I'll send it, I always look at the same spot, the right end.
Yeah. So please click that link or use that barcode. You just have to put in your name and email. That's basically it. And please sign up.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Great.
You're not time.
Movement, what do you call it? Motion to adjourn.
Not yet.
Oh.
I had an announcement that I probably should have had on the agenda. If anybody's interested in the countywide, like non-motorized transportation items, Monday evening at the county office building, it's the Ulster County Trails Advisory Committee, and they meet from about 6 to 7:30. And a lot of these, the linear parks and the rail trails and the connections between them are discussed. And kind of give you a bigger picture of how all that stuff will tie into Kingston's efforts. We've got folks from the retired from the National Park Service who worked on the trails, and it's pretty interesting stuff that's going on. And that's all I have. Any other announcements, Emily?
Not for me.
Not for
I'm
you?
done.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you for coming.
All right, thanks.
We had a good productive meeting today. It was, yeah,
I agree.
A lot of stuff.
good work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Thanks, you too.
Have